entering the Fort McHenry, which is the most popular, what is it, the most...
#1 TripAdvisor spot to go in Baltimore.
#1 place to go in Baltimore. So today we're going to be visiting Fort McHenry, which is in Baltimore, Maryland. And Fort McHenry is most famous for standing up against a British invasion during the War of 1812. Francis Scott Key watched the invasion from a ship 3 miles offshore and inspired him to write the Star-Spangled Banner.
Absolutely. Oh, say can you see?
So this is the Fort McHenry National Monument and Historical Shrine. This is their visitor center. And this is where we're going to begin going on a walking tour. Fort McHenry is in Baltimore, Maryland, and is the fort that was bombarded by the British and inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner.
Yes, and it's one of our favorite words too, free. The visitor center is free, has a cool movie I hear, and there's a walking audio tour. Just download the NPS app, which is National Park Service, and it gives you the free audio tour.
So in Baltimore, there's Fort McHenry. Fort McHenry, once again, is the fort that inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner. This fort was bombarded by the British, and that's bombardment is what inspired it. There's a map of the area, and then here is a picture of a bird's eye view of Fort McHenry. The walking tour around Fort McHenry begins at this stone map of Maryland and the Chesapeake Bay, and the black here is Chesapeake Bay, and right here on the map is Fort McHenry. And we're going to be walking along the seashore and learning about Fort McHenry and the Star-Spangled Banner. Along the shore path at Fort McHenry, there are these signs that tell you a little bit about the history of the area. This one is telling you a little about the fort, where it was located, and some of the buildings that were nearby. And the fort is in the background right there. We downloaded the audio tour.
11 36-pounder guns. Brick hotshot furnaces were located.
And you can hear it playing a little bit in the background. It tells you all about the fort and the history of what happened here at Fort McHenry. Here's a close-up of the cannons that were aimed out at the Chesapeake Bay to protect against the British Navy. And the cannons would fire out into there and hopefully hit the ships and light them on fire to deter them from moving further up into the Baltimore area and overtaking Fort McHenry, which is right there. So we're walking along the paths outside of Fort McHenry in Baltimore, and this is an old Civil War magazine storage building. There's a sign about it right here, and there's the building in the background. Outside of Fort McHenry in Baltimore is a statue of Orpheus, which is the god of music and poetry, and this statue is dedicated to Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner as he watched Fort McHenry, which is right here, getting bombarded by the British. Overlooking Fort McHenry in Baltimore is this statue of General Armistead, who commanded the fort during the British invasion in the early 1800s, and he was said to order a flag so big that the British could see it, and it was that flag that inspired Francis C. Scott to write the Star-Spangled Banner. And there's the flag flying over Fort McHenry, and Armistead is overlooking it as a statue. So we are entering Fort McHenry, which during the War of 1812 inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner. And we were informed that today there is going to be a drum corps, and the drum corps is graduating today. So I think we're going to hear quite a bit of drum music. You can hear it off in the distance as we're entering the fort. building coming down into the fort. There's a sign about the bomb-proof rooms and arched ceilings. And then here's a view of these style of rooms right here. So at Fort McHenry, they're having a drum corps graduation with the little kids that go to camp here to learn about it. So there's some parents and people watching. And then you can enter the buildings, and inside the buildings they've turned them into museums that discuss the fort, the War of 1812, and the Star-Spangled Banner. Here at Fort McHenry, Tammy's got a sword, but it's not going to do her much good against against my rifle.
I thought you said that's my rifle.
My rifle.
I baton twirled with it.
So here is the magazine, which was used to store gunpowder for use at Fort McHenry. If you enter inside, you'll see that they have the arched ceiling that was used to protect against artillery shells and rocket attacks. And they have a recreation here of some of the gunpowder barrels similar to what they would be using to store gunpowder back around the War of 1812. So here we are at Fort McHenry in Baltimore, and we're overlooking one of the bastions that had the cannons that would be firing at the British ships that during the 1812 were attacking this fort. Here's another one of the buildings at Fort McHenry, and here they have on display some of the food that they would have been eating during the time period. Fort McHenry here, and this is the desk of George Armistead, and here's a video within the desk discussing what he did during the War of 1812. Here's the prison at Fort McHenry. Here's one of the cells. And uh-oh, Tammy committed a crime. Now she's got to do the time.
Naughty girl.
Yeah, you're not coming out. I'm going on a cruise. See you later. Right outside of Fort McKinley is another magazine storage. And here it is right here. You can enter this little archway, go down these stairs, and then at the bottom of the stairs you can see where they used to store gunpowder. So at the Fort McHenry Visitor Center, they've got a statue of Francis C. Scott, the flag, and this sign explaining how this is the birthplace of the Star-Spangled Banner, written by Francis Scott Key. And then here they play a video about Fort McHenry and Francis Scott Key and the Star-Spangled Banner. So here at the Visitor Center around Fort McHenry is information about the Star-Spangled Banner, the War of 1812. And the War of 1812 is what inspired the Star-Spangled Banner when the British attacked Fort McHenry, and Francis Scott Key watched the battle from the distance about 3 miles out from the fort, and he watched the bombs bursting in air as the British bombarded the fort.
That star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Invading British power seized Washington, D.C. and burned the nation's capital. A citizen soldier of Baltimore spoke for many. Everyday American heart. The fate of Baltimore now lay in the hands of the fort's defenders. deadly shrapnel in all directions. Strange to see the flag in the dawn's early light.
It's ours, Mr. Skinner. Say, we won! It's ours.
The Star-Spangled Banner eventually became the official anthem of the United States in 1931.